Hey Fueled Up friends, welcome back or welcome. My name is Ashley, aka Food for Fuel Dietitian. On my channel, I give you tips and tricks to live your best, healthiest life. In today's video, I want to discuss a topic along the lines of emotional eating, which is triggers. I discussed this briefly in my first video about emotional eating, which will be suggested at the end of this video, so you can check it out after this. But today I want to go deeper into the topic of triggers. Now, a trigger for emotional eating is something, which could be a person, a place, or a thing, that is causing you emotional disrupt, meaning that it's maybe bringing on some negative feelings, uncomfortable feelings that make you want to reach for food for comfort. Now, some examples of triggers could be maybe family members, friends, peers, coworkers, your boss, so it could be a person. It could be a place, so a specific place that brings up maybe memories for you that make you triggered to eat certain things. And it could be a thing, meaning it could be a scent, it could be a song, it could just be a thought that pops up in your mind. And while we can't necessarily control every single trigger we have, we can do our best to set boundaries. That's what today's topic is about, boundaries. Setting boundaries so that you can experience these triggers less often. In order to treat emotional eating habits, we actually have to do a lot of emotional healing. I think a lot of people look at eating habits in terms of, okay, I just need to learn about what foods to eat, and that's not always the case. We really just have to do some deep diving internally so we can figure out where these triggers are coming from, how to go around this, or to solve the problem at hand. So let's go more into boundaries. What do I mean by boundaries? What I mean by boundaries is maybe setting time limits or limiting your availability emotionally or physically. And I'm gonna give you some examples now so that you can get a better sense of maybe how to apply this to yourself. Let's start with a place trigger. If a location is triggering you, you can set boundaries around that location. If it's a place that you have to be at, like home or work, then of course you can't avoid it completely. But what you can do is maybe there's a certain area at work or a certain room at home that's triggering you. You can set boundaries by limiting your time in that room. If your trigger is a person, you can set boundaries by just simply communicating, I need this, or this. I need 5 minutes to myself. I need you to talk to me in a more positive manner. I need X, Y, or Z. And I know it sounds like, oh, you're being super needy, but actually what's usually the problem in relationships is that we're not able to communicate what our needs are, because sometimes we do feel like we're being too needy, but that is actually going to benefit you in the long run if you are able and willing and open to sharing your needs, because it makes it easier for the other person to meet your needs. If this person that's triggering you is a person that you can eliminate from your life, then maybe you find yourself distancing them from your life, and maybe that negativity and those uncomfortable feelings come up less because you're distancing yourself and you're limiting your availability, which is a perfect way of setting boundaries around yourself and your energy. If your trigger is maybe a song, maybe just listen to that radio station less that plays that often, or take it off your playlist, or try to listen to songs that bring you up and uplift you more. Now, this is a big trigger that I think most people don't even realize how much it is triggering to them. But social media is a huge trigger for any type of eating disorders and for emotional eating because of a few things. So it's overstimulating us, because think about how many media outlets we have on our phones. We have our email, our texts, maybe people are calling you, maybe video chatting you, maybe Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything else possible that you have, maybe Twitter, whatever other social media or media in general that's on your phone. We are overstimulated, and this stresses us out. All right, so it's already overwhelming us. It's giving us a sense of overwhelm, which is one of those uncomfortable feelings that can make us reach for food for comfort. Another reason why social media specifically can be triggering is maybe it's negativity that's on your timeline. Maybe it's people in bikinis that are maybe causing you to feel insecure about your body. And if that is the case, maybe to start out, you can start just eliminating people you follow or are friends with on these social media outlets. And you can take them off your timeline or mute them or do whatever you need to do to see them less often on your feed so you don't have that trigger as frequently. We have a lot more control than we realize. We have control over a lot of our feelings. And sometimes we self-sabotage by bringing these triggers into our lives instead of saying, wow, I can take some steps to take some of these things out of my life. So identify that for yourself. What's triggering you? And how can you set boundaries to make it easier for you to work through? It's not going to be as easy as taking every single trigger out of your life. If it were that easy, no one would have any emotional eating problems. But we can make it easier on ourselves. And I know I'm relating this to emotional eating specifically, but really in general, any behavioral problem that we find we're having, we can do more about it by setting boundaries around any type of trigger. It could be a trigger to any behavior. But specifically, I'm talking about emotional eating. So if that's something that pertains to you, maybe you take a deeper look into this. If you're having a hard time with emotional eating, I do emotional eating coaching, and I would love to help you out and figure out these triggers, figure out these boundaries, figure out these emotional needs that aren't being met for you. So please feel free to reach out to me. My information is in the description. So my website, you can reach out there. You can email me. You can look at my Facebook, my Instagram. You can DM me on either of these places. And in general, if you find another way of healing for you is reading at all, I do have a poetry book that you can check out. The link to that in my description box as well. And if you have any questions at all or any comments, comment on the video or reach out to me, and I'm happy to reach back out to you and give you an answer or a response. So remember, until next time, fuel yourself, don't fool yourself. Bye guys.